Oops. Oh my gosh. Hello. I got the wrong thing on. Um, I rearranged a lot of stuff. Um, yeah. Shit. My tablet's being weird. Uh, it would start being a piece of shit. Oops. Fuck me. I thought everything was okay. I'm assuming things are going to be okay. I'm going to try to art a little bit. Not a long time. So who knows if I'll even finish that. I've been wanting to an extent, remake a comic. Not really remake, but, but fix the format. To look more like the last comic I did of Gamer Rats. Gamer Rats. TP. Seems good. I'm surprised it's not fucking here. GTA 5? GR 5. My bad. I thought I'd do some GTA shit for a second. Why did I do that? I'm not that much of a fan. Is this it? Are you threatening me? Yeah. So this is the first one. But the lettering's not. But I'd have to put it in a fucking that other program. Ink. The thing that I do fucking lettering in now. Ooh, I do have fucking Adobe. That I stole. Fuck. What is this shit? Time to. Actually, I have to save this as a fucking Photosh PSD or whatever. Or I have to export it as a Targa? TGA? I think. Let's see. Damn, I gotta find the fucking button. That doesn't happen. Dude, where the fuck is it? fuck out of here. Pictures. The fuck? Where's this shit? God damn it. 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 Where the fuck is the shit? I forgot where it. Oh, it says right there. Picture scans. Barnacle head. Oh shit. Where is it? Comic? Dude. There it is. Is it all a flat layer? What the F? Let me put on some music. Or I'm gonna fucking go nuts. Or watch something. A video essay, maybe. Yeah. Oh.
Wife of then President Rosalind Carter. John Milius's 1982 film Conan the Barbarian begins with a solemn quote from 19th century German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. This quote is a perfect summation, or an aperitif, for the movie you're about to watch, as immediately after the title card recedes, we witness the forging of a great sword, a process by which, under heavy duress, manipulation, and pressure, a mighty weapon is formed from melted steel. Conan the Man is created in a similar way. He is forged in a crucible, the crucible being the prehistoric times in which he lives, a creation of early 20th century pulp writer Robert E. Howard. A cruel Hobbesian world of great kingdoms, vile witches and wizards, and great bloodshed. A civilization destined to collapse and make way for our own. Howard had his own ideas about what made for a good society and the types of men it would take to create it. Nietzsche, famously or infamously, had many notions as well. The convictions of both men, I think, are personified well in director John Milius, a filmmaker who wasn't shy about wearing his politics on his sleeve, embodying a masculine conqueror's ethos in both his art and in the performance of his public life. Where these passions and ideas overlap between the three men and how they manifest in the film Conan the Barbarian will be explored today. You know, I had my hesitations about tackling such a well-known and beloved movie, but I hope by watching my essay you might gain a new appreciation of Conan the Barbarian, or at least feel the urge to rewatch it. But if I fail in the task that I've designed for myself, when I die in Valhalla, Crom will laugh at me, which seems likely, but I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Conan the Barbarian is the story of a young boy whose mother, father, and small village are put to the sword by a band of raiders bearing the banner of a snake and led by Thulsa Doom. Doom possesses mental abilities that allow him to manipulate others. The young Conan is taken prisoner and sold into slavery, forced to grind out an existence on the wheel of pain. Conan makes the grade and surpasses his classmates who slowly die. The only evidence they were ever there, empty manacles that sway in the wind. Through his servitude and determination, Conan becomes strong and is thrust into the competitive job market of pit gladiator, where through his victories he is bestowed increasingly with the laurels of battle, intricate and dangerous weapons and macabre masks that obscure his face and make him look like a creature. Conan is judged to be fit for higher purpose by his captors and is put out to stud with various women, no doubt enslaved like Conan, but on a different career path. Maybe this girl had her village raided and parents killed as well. Soon, Conan becomes something of a court pet, sitting on the table like an ornament to the feast, and occasionally his opinion is solicited. He recites one of his most famous lines.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women.
Is this what Conan truly believes? Or has he become like a trained dog, reciting the teachings and embodying the values of those who have striven to keep him a slave? All he has learned has been given to him by second-rate misers who seek to profit from his blood. One day, Conan's master releases him. Why? Out of pity? Out of shame, feeling he is not worthy to own one who has the potential to be truly great. That to keep Conan as a simple fighter is an affront to nature? We will never know. There is a similar scene in Milius's 1975 film, The Wind and the Lion, in which the Razuli, Sean Connery, narrates the story of his rise to power, which involves imprisonment by his evil brother.
And the chains were replaced many times. It was always I who remained. It was then that the guards saw that the Baraka was with me. They arranged my escape.
Like Conan, he was recognized by his captors to be a higher man of sorts, released in order that he accomplish great deeds. Here we see a theme that will repeat in Milius's work, of the greatness of certain men being recognized in others after they survive a crucible of experience. Conan is flung into the wilderness, not an easy path, but to embark on a similar quest for greatness, fleeing baying hounds on a vast plain. Conan doesn't know what freedom is, says Milius. Freedom is the dogs. Conan is naked, scared, at the whim of nature. He seeks refuge in a cave. We know that the times in which Conan lived are times of old. Surprisingly, we find still artifacts from a time older, forgotten, a monument to a great man, an Atlantean king. Looking at the Atlantean king in his forlorn cave, or at the plain in which Conan and his friends do battle, we see the remnants of a long-dead civilization. A very important element of Howard's lore for the Conan stories is the idea of cyclical civilizational collapse. Atlantis, a civilization which predated the Hyborian Age, is now long gone, and in Howard's mythology, Conan's world also decays, to make way for the recorded history of our very own real world. Conan takes his dusty sword, the jaw from the skull of the old king creaks. There's nothing supernatural about this, but Conan is alarmed, knowing he has disturbed the sleep of this once great leader, maybe desecrated his grave, stolen his legacy. But no, this is a warning, a reminder that this sword isn't a lowly trinket. It must be used for great deeds, and its bearer, too, must also become great. Once a cowering wretch, whose brawn and agility no match for a rabid pack of dogs, now, with his tool, able to master the wilderness. Robert E. Howard lived on the vast plains of Texas. Roughly 10 years before the beginning of his short life, the U.S. government declared that the West had been settled, and in 1890, the frontier was officially declared closed. This event upset Howard very much. He often lamented this transition from frontier to civilization in his correspondence with fellow pulp author H.P. Lovecraft. Of the domestication of the frontier, Howard said, "Capital with its ruthless practices came to stay, and with it came all the riffraff that follows in the wake of a wholesale
Did he know H.P. Lovecraft? Or were they just having like similar opinions? Or did they write for the same pulp comics? That's crazy if he knew. Oh my god, he's so awesome. I hate that he killed himself.
exploitation. A few corrupt politicians sold us out, and we've been fighting for our rights ever since." Howard and Lovecraft often debated the merits of civilization, Lovecraft holding the rationalist perspective, Howard the romanticist. Of their correspondence, collected in a compendium titled A Means to Freedom, author Brian Murphy, in his review, characterizes the effect of Howard's environment on him and his creation quite well, and I quote him here. Many have compared sword and sorcery to the American Western, and Howard's insights on the importance of the frontier bear that out. We also see sword and sorcery forming in a rejection of the machine age. Mustard gas and the Maxim machine gun leave little room for martial heroes, and the 9-to-5 office round or factory job erodes self-determination and foments dehumanization. In response to this void, Howard pioneered the figure of the barbarian hero outsider and imbued his stories with powerful themes of the inevitable corruption and fall of civilization, the potentiality for renewal in the frontier, and the ultimate triumph of barbarism. Which reminds me of this quote from Milius. Conan is a barbarian, and most of his conflicts are with evils that are wrought by civilization. He is a character who relies on the animal, and I always believe that the animal instincts in people are the better part of them, and that the civilizing instincts are often the worst. From here on in throughout the story, Conan replaces all the things that were before given to him in captivity during his 9-to-5, but now he attains them by his own hand. Sure, he earned the women, food, and clothes of his slave days through victory, but they were all prescribed for him, merit badges as he climbed the corporate ladder. Now he makes his own choices. Where once he wore gladiatorial armor, he now wears warm pelts, trophies of his hunt. Where once he was given women, now he seeks them out for himself. An unfortunate choice in the first, as she was a maniacal witch demon, but these lessons need to be learned. Once he was forced into the company of slave traders, now he makes his own friends. Before he fought enemies, but now they are those he chooses. Conan journeys with his new friend Subutai across the magnificent landscape of Hyboria, where Conan takes in the amazing sights and sound of civilization. He gets high.
Black Lotus.
Dope, exactly. He gets us stoned.
He eats unfamiliar food.
Isn't it gonna see the camel?
He punches a camel,
Oh, that's funny.
but soon discovers something sinister standing within the city's walls. A tower, ornamented in the iconography of the snake. The snake, a remnant from Conan's past, perhaps buried during his decade of trials, now returning to inform his future.
What is it you seek?
A standard. A symbol. Perhaps on a shield. Two snakes coming together. Facing each other. But they're one.
Conan and Subutai meet Valeria by chance, a beautiful, lithe, determined thief and warrior. Valeria was played by Sandal Bergman, who had made a big impression as a dancer in Bob Fosse's All That Jazz in 1979. I smiled while reading Ebert's characterization of her screen persona and role because it's so spot on. Valeria is everything you could ever hope for in a woman. If you are a muscle-bound pre-adolescent, of course. She is lanky and muscular and a great sport, and she can ride, throw, stab, fence, and climb ropes as good as a boy. Having bosoms may be great, but a woman with lively intelligence and a sly wit is even greater. The three agree to pool their efforts and rob from the snake cult, a hefty jewel, a jewel guarded by a monstrous snake. The snake and the jewel acting as a focal point for a sort of sham ceremony in which young, beautiful girls sacrifice themselves by leaping into a pit.
Dude, I don't know
Conan
how to
thwarts
use
this
goddamn
deranged rite
program.
by killing the sacred snake, plunging his sword into its head, slicing it in half. After making their getaway, prize in tow, Conan and his compatriots revel in their victory, making merry with gold, drink, and basically going on a bender. A moment that Dino De Laurentiis found to be undignified behavior in a hero, but one which is totally in line with Howard's stories. Stories like Rogues in the House, in which a desperately drunk Conan allows himself to be apprehended by the evil palace guard, which is in turn the catalyst for the story.
What if this
In their
fucking
stupor, they're apprehended by the forces of the local king, King Osric, played by Max von Sydow.
Okay, wait.
Rather than punish them for their misbegotten ways, the king instead implores them to help, to recover his wayward daughter from the clutches of Thulsa Doom. Conan and his compatriots
I saw-
agree. Subutai and Valeria,
How the fuck with the
mesmerized by the
size,
promise
man?
of treasure,
That's not-
Conan at the opportunity to avenge his parents' death. I can also imagine this predicament in Milius' own time. The conservative father whose daughter has run off with hippies, new agers possessed of radical notions and corrupting ideas about sex, of which the snake cult of Thulsa Doom definitely is. Milius had stated that 60s radicals like Jim Jones were the inspiration for Thulsa Doom. No one likes to reminisce on the fact that Jim Jones had many influential celebrities like Jane Fonda and politicians like the wife of then-president Rosalind Carter who fell under his sway. Milius was famously impervious to the aims of hippies and their canned speeches about peace and liberation. His inspiration for the title of his script Apocalypse Now is a testament to this.
Hippies would often have a peace sign, and the peace sign would say Nirvana now. And so, of course, me wanting to be contrary, just probably for no other reason than to be contrary, and being sort of a warlike individual anyway, I took a peace sign and I converted it. It's got the, you've seen the peace sign. I put nasals on it and a tail so that it became a B-52. And then I put Apocalypse Now.
Thulsa Doom, in the time between having killed Conan's parents, has evolved, shed his old skin, as it were. He has in one sense become more civilized. Where once he wore armor and plundered with weapons, now he wears the esteemed robes of a high priest. His arsenal? The legion of followers enthralled to his display. His power is very real, but his religion of the snake is very obviously a sham. This dark magic benefits only him. Recall the priest in the Snake Tower, Rexor, played by Ben Davidson. Once an armed thug who helped Thulsa Doom sack and destroy small villages, now shamelessly clad in religious robes and sadistically torturing young women under the guise of enlightenment. In the scene where Conan infiltrates the gathering of the cult during their pilgrimage to Doom's temple, he encounters a priest higher in the echelons of Doom's legions. Conan, in disguise as a neophyte recruit, inquires about the movement. The priest recites some pseudo-profundities while barely disguising his sexual designs towards Conan.
You're so big and so well grown. You should be proud of your body. How do you expect to reach emptiness without knowing your own body?
The Sumerian understands this and plays along to his advantage. It's clear that, like any hippie cult of the 1960s, the doctrine of free love, social change, liberation, etc. is really just a ruse to lure naive and impressionable young women its way. The Doom cult is predatory, and its adherents, we soon find, are either shoveled into the orgy pit to satisfy Doom's underlings or meet a much grislier fate, flayed and mutilated and boiled into disgusting pots of green stew. The siren song of Thulsa Doom is a societal cancer, already having affected the Princess of Zamora, and as we see, many more who have abdicated their work, families, and individual aspirations in exchange for the imagined safety of the herd, to be used by Thulsa Doom to supplant the natural order of kings and warriors. Conan is apprehended, beaten, and taken to the perch of Thulsa Doom, where Doom ridicules the riddle of steel, the lesson of Conan's father.
There was a time, boy, when I searched for steel. And steel meant more to me than gold or jewels.
The riddle of steel.
Yes. You know what it is, don't you, boy?
On the commentary track, Milius makes a point to punctuate this scene with a cryptic statement.
Steel isn't strong, boy. Flesh is stronger.
This is great. This is what it is. This is Nietzsche.
In Friedrich Nietzsche's work, The Genealogy of Morals, the philosopher identifies two different types of morality. One, the morality of the old world, which he calls the master morality. The other, which emerged after the time of Christ, he called slave morality. Master morality doesn't distinguish between good and evil. Instead, it exalts achievement, the will to conquer and build, traits of courage, strength, bravado, a lust for the spoils of war, traits which were alive in the Romans and the Vikings. The tendencies of the peasant class towards quotidian concerns and the lack of a fighting spirit would not have been seen as evil by those who held the warrior morality, just undesirable or pitiful, or beneath thought. Slave morality, however, the morality of the peasants, sees a clear distinction between good and evil. Evil being essentially everything they are not, which is unsurprisingly embodied in the masters. Good being defined by their traits, humility, timidity, forgiveness. Nietzsche compares those with the slave morality to sheep, and those with the master morality to great birds of prey. The great birds of prey, or hawks, have no qualm with the sheep. In fact, they are either indifferent to them or enjoy feasting on them. The sheep, however, see the hawks as evil, and themselves, of course, as good. Nietzsche claimed that at some point in history, Western civilization had experienced what he characterized as a slave revolt, in which slave morality conquered the West as the defining ideal. The slaves could not have done this on their own, however. Nietzsche identifies the character of the priest as the rabble-rouser. And I'm not talking about, Father Dave here, but Nietzsche uses the term priest to describe any ascetic force that limits the human capacity for the enjoyment of wealth, pleasure, or passionate emotion, be they scientists, politician, or clergy. The priest, according to Nietzsche, is a bird of prey himself, but he's a traitor to his class. Rather than make war or forge swords, he uses the masses as his means of control.
That is strength, boy. That is power. The strength and power of flesh.
Conan, I think it's clear, embodies the master morality. In Howard's conception of the character, Conan is oddly pure in the way he indulges his appetite for sex, drink, and revelry. He's honest in that he's out for himself. He's a largely amoral character who steals and pillages, and eventually, through his tenacity and sheer prowess as a warrior, he comes to sit upon the throne of the great kingdom of Aquilonia. I don't think it's a coincidence that many of Howard's stories find Conan at odds with a manipulative and conniving priest or mystic. These figures are always contemptible in Howard's stories, clad in a effete dress, using underhanded means, disguising their true intentions. I think that in both Nietzsche and Howard's estimation, this priest archetype and his rise herald the end of civilization as the masses abandon and scorn those who built society and erected it from nothing in favor of manipulators who make them feel morally righteous in their resentments. This hallmark of the Conan stories, the silver-tongued priest usurping the position of leader from the warrior who should rightfully rule, is very present in Milius's Conan, and tragically, Conan, the great warrior and self-made man, is left to the mercy of Thulsa Doom and set to die on the Tree of Woe. It's a crucifixion, a way to humiliate and mock the old warrior, the rejected hero, to make way for the new morality, the morality of the priest and his masses. Luckily, Conan is rescued by his friends, in whom he's inspired much loyalty. But rather than loyalty engendered by promises of power, which is Thulsa Doom's game, Conan inspires loyalty out of admiration and the recognition in others that he is a great man and he is resurrected from certain death. The old gods demand a high price, however, and Valeria is killed by a snake fashioned into an arrow by Doom. The princess has been rescued, but in her ingratitude is lashed to a rock where she bears witness to Conan's trials, the burial of Valeria by fire, and the brave last stand of Conan against Doom's onslaught. Finally, after Doom attempts to kill her and apostate to his religion, she finally sees Conan, the uncouth, helmeted barbarian, is the only real man worth following. Conan returns to the temple once more and in front of the gathered believers decapitates Thulsa Doom and tosses his head down the stairs. His brazen act shocks the crowd. They are left paralyzed, and after realizing that Thulsa Doom is but flesh and blood, their enthusiasm fades, and they begin to extinguish their torches, almost in shame. Shame in having fallen for the ruse, so easily dispatched by this godlike muscle man. Conan leads the princess away. Tenderly, he doesn't take her as a spoil of war. Instead, he carries her into the sun, back to her family, and towards a better tomorrow for her and Conan, now a full-fledged man, the world wide open to him. Milius once said, "It's important to go out and do something in your life, to do something with tremendous commitment and dedication. Maybe put your life on the line to do it. It's important. It makes you a bigger person. We've gotten away from this, the pursuit of excellence. That's really one of the values I try to get into all the movies I do." Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that review. Conan the Barbarian is one of my favorite movies, and through this process of research and writing, it's come to hold an even closer place in my heart. I had a great time making this video, and, it's just a great movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger is terrific. You can see, that this guy was going to become a star, and he's used perfectly by Milius. It was an excellent and inspired choice. John Milius, too, is someone that I'm very, very interested in, and I hope that this video did him justice. If you like this review and you would like to afford me the ability to make more videos in the future, please consider supporting me on Patreon for a $1 or $3 tier. A lot of hidden costs that go into making these videos, so if you guys would consider doing that, it'd be huge. Until then, thanks for watching.
Thanks for cutting out Conan the Barbarian. Decker Shadow.
Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Decker Shadow, the internet personality with the best hair, and welcome back to...
The Summer of Arnold Schwarzenegger!
Now, while the Terminator convinced Hollywood he was an actor who could actually act, he was already in demand before this, due in no small part thanks to the success of Conan the Barbarian. Based more loosely than you might think on the original characters of Robert E. Howard, both Conan the Cimmerian and Cole the Conqueror, and the Marvel Comics adaptations of Conan, Conan the Barbarian starred Arnold Schwarzenegger in the title role, having a grand adventure during the low-fantasy Hyborian age. The film almost single-handedly revitalized the fantasy genre in the 80s, giving new life to swords and sorcery. Also, it went through quite a few different versions in pre-production, including one where Conan fights an army of mutants in a post-apocalyptic futuristic setting. So all things considered, they actually stuck closer to the source material than some of them wanted to. Conan the Barbarian still kind of changes some things around, though, in an attempt to make a feature film out of a character best known for short stories and one-off adventures. In Conan the Barbarian, we watch as Conan grows up, learns to fight, and discovers a terrible evil that only he can vanquish. Eventually. He's not exactly the most proactive hero in cinema. So let's take a look at Conan the Barbarian and at least be a little more on the ball when it comes to posting reviews. After a quote from Nietzsche, which annoyed more than a few critics who assumed going in this was going to be tongue-in-cheek dumb fun, we jump right into exposition. Both a narrator going over the basics of who Conan is and Conan's own father, played by William Smith, explaining to his young son, played by Jorge Sanz, the origin of steel. Seems Crom, the god of the earth, had it stolen away by giants one night. He got pissed off, shook the earth, and the gods of the sky killed the fuck out of the thieves with fire and wind and cast them into the sea.
But in their rage, the gods forgot the secret of steel and left it on the battlefield.
Because this was back when gods weren't perfect, and keeping up with their antics took about as much devotion as understanding the Kamen Rider continuity. Point is, men found it lying there, and finders keepers, they get to keep it. Just pay your respects to Crom once in a while. That's enough exposition for now, though, as we shift over to an unassuming morning in Samaria. Things seem peaceful enough, but this is the beginning of a movie, so they are attacked. Ruthlessly, the helpless villagers are slaughtered one by one, including Conan's father. Eventually, all that remains is Conan and his mother, played by Nadiuska. The trio of bad guys, led by none other than James Earl Jones, who plays Thulsa Doom, slows things down to let us know this scene is important. Dude, that was my mother! I only had one! After the Marauders are done killing the women, pillaging the weapons, burning the men, and raping the huts, the children are rounded up. Not to go with the Marauders, they go to the south while Conan and the other tykes head up north.
His was a tale of sorrow.
It's not like kids back then had it easy in general. Conan's there in the line complaining like, man, my family was slaughtered. And the other guys are like, so what, bitch? My family was killed in front of me and eaten. I paid to be a slave. I used to be a fucking chamber pot. Of course, if you want to go by original Conan mythos, he never was a slave. And what exactly is Conan doing in his time as a slave? Pushing a big fucking wheel. This would be the Wheel of Pain. And I'm not sure if it has a purpose beyond causing Conan to morph into Arnold Schwarzenegger, buff and powerful. This is because, evidently, like Cole the Conqueror, instead of Conan the Barbarian, he's going to spend his early years in gladiatorial combat. At the very least, this gives us our first vocalizations from the man. Schwarzenegger used struggle. It's not very effective. Might have helped if they bothered to tell him he was in a fight to the death before starting the match, but Conan quickly figures out that it's in his best interest to kill the ever-loving fuck out of this guy. This, of course, results in his victory and his continued use in gladiatorial combat. As it turns out, killing people is right up his alley, and even as a slave, such victories bring with them many rewards.
He was taken to the east, a great prize, where the war masters would teach him the deepest secrets.
If, at any point, it ever looks like you might be losing, quickly point straight at your foe and declare them a Nazi. They also teach him to read and write as well as fucking. All things considered, for being a slave, he's got it pretty damn good. Hell, he even gets to sit in on generals' meetings and gets to give his official first lines in response to one of their questions.
Conan, what is best in life? crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
I like movies. And after so long living the life of a slave in a penthouse suite...
No, you're free.
Someone sets him free. Because otherwise this movie wouldn't be happening. Conan is free, because that's just how his life went at this point. This is a theme that kind of continues throughout the movie. Motivations take a backseat to happenstance. On that note, while running his free ass for life from a pack of dogs, Conan trips across a tomb with a handy-dandy sword in it. A few skinned dogs later, and he happens across a hut where this happens.
There's warmth and fire. Do you not wish to warm yourself by my fire?
Hey, just walking down the street, minding my own business, being offered shelter and sex by a woman that I've never seen before. Just, normal everyday stuff. This mysterious woman, played by Cassandra Gava, seems to have the mistaken idea that Conan is a prophecy-driven character and starts going on about how he was meant to come there and rid the land of the snakes. This jogs Conan's memory about the symbol held by the marauders who killed his family. But she doesn't have all the answers. Yet.
There's a price, barbarian.
It's not even that much.
Okay? Hot babe needs me to fuck the visions out of her. Where's the downside here? Perhaps after she tells him that he will find what he seeks in Zamora, the dick becomes just too much and she starts going feral on his ass. Oh my, she's a witch! Damn, why did we have to make sweet love down by the fire? My one weakness! With that, the witch is killed. Kinda. She keeps screaming and her flaming spirit ass tears through the hut before flying the fuck out of there. Oh well, no reason to not spend the rest of the night in the hut. Conan needs his beauty sleep after all. However, it seems that all this time there had been a man chained right outside.
I am Subutai, thief and archer.
Also a level 3 tailor. It's not really a focus, I just trimmed a few threads one day and ding! Subutai, played by Jerry Lopez, was locked up here to feed some wolves, so Conan frees him and they band together for adventure. This brings them to Zamora, where they see the sights that civilization has to offer, elephants, and street food of questionable nutritional value. But as they question everyone they meet about the snake symbol Conan is looking for, nobody knows anything, except one lone shopkeeper.
The only snakes I know of are those of Set and those cursed towers. They have spread to every city.
So how long exactly has Conan been walking around asking about snakes while under the shadow of a big fucking tower covered in snakes? Now that they have this amazing lead, well, fuck it, the night is young, let's get drunk and cause a ruckus.
You
too big to be a thief.
It all depends on skill points and perk placement. I wonder if Conan can respec out a camel puncher. Either way, forget about any of the motivations he had before. Subutai mentions that the Serpent Tower allegedly is full of all kinds of money, so breaking in to steal that shit would be quite lucrative. Thus they had that way to do just that, running into a woman along the way, Valeria, played by Sandal Bergman.
Thieves!
I'll try to fucking...
Yourself. Come to climb the tower.
You don't even have a rope.
Everyone knows after you climb a tower, you celebrate with bondage play. On that note, she joins the merry band of larcenists, climbing the snake tower, ready to break in and rob 'em fucking blind.
What on earth could smell so bad?
Do you want to live forever?
Given the option, yes, but even if I say no, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'd like to go sometime in the next 5 minutes. There's two main floors we see on the inside. First, a temple area where one of the marauders from the opening, the Lemmy Kilmeister-looking motherfucker Rexor, played by Ben Davidson, is performing a ritual with many ladies. So the lady of the group volunteers to stay here, while Conan and Subutai check below. Below containing amazing jewels and, oh yeah, a giant fucking snake. So while the people upstairs are distracted by boobage, Conan swipes the gems, is reminded of that plot thing he's supposed to be following, and accidentally wakes up the giant snake puppet. No bother, just cut his fucking head off. Unfortunately, that does mean the sacrifice doesn't die and just screams a lot, alerting all around her. Not to worry though, Valeria has been hard at work at the Tower's temple.
Shit.
Playing dress up.
Shit.
At the very least, she stabs the guard and covers her escape very nicely. Thus, Conan forgets all about that snake symbol thing he saw, cause fuck it, I'm rich, bitch! With that, he gives the greatest jewel of all, the Eye of the Serpent, to Valeria, and fucks the shit out of her.
Very long.
This goes on for a while, but the narrator is here to make sure that there's some kind of conflict for Conan to face.
Success can test one's mettle as surely as the strongest adversary.
Now we get to watch as he struggles valiantly against the threat of drowning in a bowl of soup. Or a bunch of big motherfuckers with weapons could round him and his friends up, unceremoniously dragging them before the king, Osric, played by Max von Sydow. Though it's not exactly for the royal ass-reaming you might be
I'll
expecting.
have to watch this Decker Shadow later. Not get too invested in it. But I'm sorry I couldn't be on too long. I just needed a little bit. I just wanted to work on a little art. But I gotta go. So unfortunately, I got home pretty late. Anyway, take care. Thank you for anybody lurking, chilling. Sorry this wasn't a long stream. Peace out. Later. Bye.